Hi guys, welcome back, and if you're new here, I'm Nessie. Before I start getting creative for 2026, I thought it would be nice to take a look at everything I made in 2025. I started the year off making Papa Gnome's kitchen benches and sink. They now have a big farmhouse sink with copper taps and a curtain to hide the cavity underneath, and I also made a small wine rack because you never know when you'll have a celebration. Next up is the kitchen island. The kitchen was a huge space, and more storage and bench space is always welcome. It has 3 drawers that open on one side, shelves, storage rack, and 2 pull-out bins. The kitchen island needed some finishing touches, so I made some baskets for the shelves, a roll of paper towels, which of course meant I had to make a paper towel holder for the side of the island, a towel rack for the other side of the island, and of course that called for a tea towel. The storage bins were just calling out for some root vegetables, so I made some potatoes and swedes to fill them. The gnomes love their vegetables. The next thing I did was make a tile splashback for the kitchen. No more nasty splashes over Papa Gnome's walls, and Mama was very happy about that. I followed that with some upper kitchen cabinets with loads of storage space and an old-fashioned plate rack above the sink. Mama Gnome gave me a hand with the installation. I started thinking about things to fill the shelves with and made some vintage glass platters from the bottoms of water bottles. Miniature stacking bowls were next on my list, but I just couldn't decide on one pattern, so I made several sets. At least the gnomes won't run out of mixing bowls in a hurry. Papa wanted somewhere out of the way to hang up his pots and pans, so I built him a hanging pot rack. Those tall ceilings have got to be good for something, eh? Little Leaf got so excited he ended up taking a tumble off the kitchen island, but all was well in the end and no broken bones. I dove into my recycled stash for the next build and made some pots and saucepans from caps and pill trays. Papa especially loved his big new stock pots to cook with. Oh, the kitchen utensils, so many utensils. I made a tenderizing mallet, drainer spoon, balloon whisk, a potato masher, a ladle, Danish whisk, fish slice and a cheese grater, a rolling pin, carving fork, a knife, and a meat cleaver and a paring knife. The knives needed a knife block, and then chopping boards, and an offset spatula. Then there was the set of measuring cups, the salt and pepper grinders, and the measuring spoons. Here I was working my butt off in the gnome home, and Mama had the audacity to build a complaint box. So guess what I did next? I made a wire dish rack and a dish brush because those dirty dishes were beginning to pile up. The gnomes were tired of eating with their hands, so I made some tiny cutlery for them. Papa Gnome loves cooking, but he wanted more flavour, so I made him a spice rack. No more bland food coming out of this kitchen. Welcome to Flavour Town. By this point, I needed to get out of the house for some fresh air, so Sandy and I got to work on her dream garden. The first plants I made were some cauliflower and lettuces out of spun cotton. I had a minor detour out of the garden when I dreamt about a working puppet theatre, so to get it out of my head, I just had to make it a reality. Once that was out of my system, I got back to the garden and made tomato and aubergine plants. I followed those with runner bean vines that were absolutely loaded with beans, and Sandy couldn't wait to harvest them. Next in the garden were the pumpkin plants. I made 2 different types of pumpkins and their sprawling vines. They looked good enough to eat, and Sandy agreed. We needed some root vegetables, so carrots and parsnips it is. I made whole harvested carrots and parsnips, as well as just the top parts that you would see when they were growing in the ground. The final plants I made for the garden were some onions. I made whole onion plants as well as some dried harvested ones with the green tops removed. After all that, Sandy helped me figure out how and where to plant everything. We put the garden in around the roots of the Gnome Home treehouse and it fit perfectly. But then it was time for some fun accessories to be made. The first thing we needed was a scarecrow to protect the garden. Sandy thought he turned out pretty cute. The final build for 2025 was a sign for Sandy's garden, and I revamped some cute wooden plant pots for a lovely splash of colour in the garden. I've had so much fun working on the Gnome Home over the last year, and I have plenty more ideas that I want to bring to life. I can't wait to share them with you. Don't forget to like my Nessie Monster Crafts Facebook page and join in Fun Day Fridays, where you'll get sneak peeks at both what I'm doing in my studio for this channel and my own personal projects. The link to my Facebook group is in the description box below. The first official video for 2026 is out in 2 weeks, so I'll see you there. Bye!